Senator Housakis.
The question at issue here is not the fact that we have a country of a rule of law here, and China has a different rule of law, and making a comparison. The question here is we have a government that has been inactive and incapable of improving Canada-Chinese relations to a point that helping Canadian citizens whose lives are in danger. You also cautioned me yesterday, Senator Harder, about my questions regarding Mr. Spavor and Mr. Kovrig. You said, and I quote you again, I would also caution you to place, as the honourable senator is anxious to do, the situation in the hands of our Prime Minister. These were decisions taken by the government of China, end of quote. And you also said, and I quote you again, it's important that we not seek to have partisan advantage in a situation where Canadian lives are at stake. Let me quote the Honourable Stéphane Dion, then member of the Liberal opposition in the House, asking a question on January 26, 2015 about Raif Badawi, who is in a Saudi jail. And I quote, will the Prime Minister intercede directly with the new Saudi king as requested by Mr. Badawi's spouse? End of quote. The same request that Prime Minister Harper directly intervened was made by several Liberal members, including the Honourable Irwin Cotler, including the Honourable Marc Garneau, currently Minister in the government of Justin Trudeau. So, Senator Harder, why do you think parliamentarians should not ask inconvenient questions about the inaction of Prime Minister Trudeau regarding Canadians who have been jailed in China? Or is it, as usual, on the part of Senator Harder and our colleagues here, it's only partisan when it's a Conservative who's asking the hard and difficult questions?
Senator Harder.
I thank the honourable senator for his question. Let me, first of all, reassure Canadians in this chamber that the Prime Minister has, from the very beginning of the situation involving first Michael Kovrig and then subsequently other Canadians, been personally and deeply involved. Other ministers have been involved, and as I've indicated in a longer answer to a previous question, Canada has engaged with a number of allies who themselves have brought to bear their concerns and interests on the matter to the government of China. As recently as a few hours ago, in a press interview, the Prime Minister from Paris said, we will continue to work with our allies and work directly with China to ensure they understand we are a country of the rule of law, and we will allow our legal processes to unfold independently, while at the same time we'll always stand for Canadians and continue to. I think it's important for us all to recognize, particularly on a day in which two Canadians were formally charged, that we should work together to minimize the risk to their well-being, and to work closely with all avenues that could lead to a successful conclusion. You know, it wasn't that long ago, although it's a number of decades ago, that the tragic events at Tiananmen Square took place. Nobody in Canada blamed Mr. Mulroney for the coolness of diplomatic relations at that time. It was clear. Similarly, the coolness of the relations right now are a result of Chinese actions. That is